What's happening, everybody? So last video I said I probably wasn't going to be making many videos, but I found some things that are really interesting and were a little challenging at first that I thought would help a lot of people. So I'm just going to make this video kind of the rest of my day, and anything interesting that comes up that's out of the norm with this van build. So the first thing is when we, let me show you real quick. So the first thing is the way we paneled this is we went inside the ribs instead of on top, which is against what everybody told me to do. Everybody said to put them on top. I was like, no, that's wasting too much space. It's an inch from this rib to the luan back here, and that is just too much wasted space. I don't know how many cubic feet or centimeters or whatever that is, but that's a lot of wasted space, man. So I didn't want to do that. But and another benefit of that is because we have the bed sideways back there, we can actually stretch out all the way. If we had gone on top of the ribs, we wouldn't be able to stretch out all the way. So that's very helpful with that. But up here, that presents a challenge in putting up the cabinetry. You've got to build around these curves. Luckily, they're all pretty darn close to the same size, so it's not too bad. But what we did is we built the square cabinetry, not including the ribs, and now we're cutting out all the spots for the ribs. Let me flash forward back to the cabinets. Okay, so we cut out these spots where they're going to go between the ribs, all in the bottom ones. Now these top cabinets are not attached. Let me flip sides on here so I can grab this with my strong hand. These are not going to be attached. We're going to attach these parts once we get it in the van, because the way we designed this is for this bottom one to hold the amp, or at least hold the speaker cab for the guitar and the bass amp. So we're going to have to set it on top of that amp, and then hook in a couple cross supports while it's down on the ground, and then we'll put these on, and then we'll push the whole thing back into place and bolt it down. It's going to be a little bit of a pain to pull out of the van, but you got to make sacrifices with this stuff. Van building is all about sacrifices. Interesting, my camera's focusing on my Into the Mystery 13 t-shirt here. So yeah, so now that I've got these ones exactly where I want them, I've got to get the holes in this one. So let me show you how I do that real quick. Alright, so this bottom notch here is totally cut out. Can you see that? Yes, you can. Great. So this is totally cut out. So what I'm doing is I'm using the square. This is a perfect square because I want everything nice and square. I've been using this thing religiously on this entire cabinet. And holding it up against the left side. And then I'll take this one and I'll set it up like this. And I'll make sure that it's staying up against this this side of the cutout, and then I'll hold this up. And let me give you a different angle on this and explain it again. So I hold this square, and it's orientated this way, because if it's this way, it can wander side to side. If it's this way instead of this way, it can't move. So that's very important. And then I hold this one in place up against here, and I take this one and I line it up like that and make sure that it's nice and square against this, and then I just draw my little mark down there, and that's it. So it's pretty easy. And then after this, I'll take out my little what are you called? You are a oh, what's this guy called? One of these. Ah, God dang it. Hey, Evie, what's the name of this? Why can't I remember this?
Jigsaw?
Jigsaw. I'll take my jigsaw and cut it out without the wire being trapped inside the blade there. Alright, so now that I've got all my marks made, I can use this template that I made, which is the shape, at least half of it. I marked this half. This is the good half. This is the bad half. It didn't turn out quite as well. So what I do is I just split it down the middle. I'll trace this half, and then I'll flip the thing over to trace the same half again so that they look the same. Two things that when I first started building out vans, I'm not like an experienced woodworker or anything by any means. I'm not a cabinet maker. I have no formal training. I just figured this stuff out as I go. So take this with a grain of salt, but as someone who's built my van several times, I think like this is the fifth or something, I don't even know anymore. Two things that I wish I would have known right away is, one, to use squares. Have several different sizes and different types. We've also got a little mini one. I don't know where that, I think it's right over here, yeah. This one too. Both when you're making cuts and you're making templates, And when you're putting everything together, make sure everything's nice and square because it just looks so much better. It looks so much nicer. And another thing is using wood filler to fill in, you know, any imperfections. If you've got a piece of plywood with, you know, a big knot in it that's open, maybe you like that. Maybe you want to leave it. That's a taste thing. But like the screw holes, and oh, and there's a third bonus number 3 here. Use a countersink, and a countersink, it has a pilot drill in it so that you drill a pilot hole, and it also reams out a little area inside the wood so that the screw, instead of sticking out, it sits down in the wood. And that does 2 things. Drilling the pilot hole means that your wood is much less likely to split on you, which is definitely a bad thing. It destroys the integrity of it, the strength. And also, it hides that screw down so it's not visible. And then you can go over that with wood filler, and it just looks so much more professional and so much more smooth. And I think if you do these little touches and these little things and get everything perfect, sand the edges, try to sand them at a consistent angle so that the wood is smooth when you touch it. You know, you do these little things, and just at the end of it, it just feels so much better when you're in the van. And I don't know, it seems like our environment has a big impact on our psychology. Like if you're in a beautiful place, or like an old, beautifully crafted Victorian house or mansion or something that's like handmade and just beautiful, you feel it. You get that sense of beauty and that sense of awe, you know, that you don't get in some shack that's just thrown together. So the more you can try to refine this and get it like as close to perfect as possible without like destroying your soul with expecting it to be literally perfect, the better in my mind. So yeah, I'm gonna keep going with this. I'm gonna trace all these holes and cut this thing out and see how it all fits. And then you guys will get to see what it looks like when it's in the van. So that'll be cool too. Woo! All right, here we go. Check this out. So this is it in all its glory. A couple of these pieces are in temporarily, like these ones, because this got kind of warped. I don't know exactly how it happened, but somehow this one got kind of weird. I don't know. And then this long piece got warped because we use pretty thin plywood. We use 11/32 plywood. But this is basically it. So we'll have the electric guitar and the bass in here. We'll have an area down here where we can store stuff, probably tripods. And then we're going to put one of those shoe rack things up here. And we tested with the seat, leaned all the way back and pulled all the way back. The farthest back we'll ever use it. There's just a few other things I have to do. The main one is cut down in the very corner so that we can put all these cables back there. And we're going to wrap them in conduit and everything so they're nice and protected. And then back here we'll have our fridge. And we have another cabinet that goes here. Hey, don't stick your finger in my butt. And another big cabinet up here. We're going to put another wall right here so that the bedroom is like feels like a separate room. You know what I mean? What do you think?
Yeah.
Looks good?
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Yeah, and then just this big open area right here is a bench for now. Eventually we might get some sugar bears, and if we get sugar bears, that's where the cage will go. But I don't know if we're going to get them yet. What do you think, sugar bears?
Eventually.
Eventually. So, yeah, I just got to do a few more things. Evie just finished editing her video, so I'm going to go check that out.
Come on.
Is it going?
Put it out there. Yeah, of course it's rolling. Yeah, of course it's rolling.
Alright, so another tip is don't make your cuts like squares, man. Like squares look terrible. So I'm going to use this red Solo cup here and match up this end to the line. Imagine there's like a cross through this, you know what I mean? So I just match up the lines and make a perfect little corner there, little circle. And then I'll just take my jigsaw, which I actually remember the name of it this time, and get in here and cut this out. But in order to get the blade in here, you either have to drill a big hole with the drill, or I'll probably just set this on the table saw. That's not the safest thing to do, like, at all, if you're not familiar with table saws. Definitely don't do it, because it's not very safe. But I'm just saying that's what I'm going to do. There's all other ways to put a hole in here first, so you can get that jigsaw blade in there. But I forgot to cut this out. We got this thing all sanded and wiped down and everything. It sucks that Evie just spent all that time wiping this thing down, but because it's gonna have to be done again. But luckily it should only be like in here and out here that needs to be wiped down. So I'm gonna knock this out, and then we're gonna go get some fondue, because I love fondue and I am hungry. Ugh. You can turn it off now.
I don't want to.
How's your meal?
It's good. I had a big fat sausage, which I only have a little tip left, and then a little mushroom tip. And then I have shepherd's pie. I love shepherd's pie.
And I got the fondue with bread and bread pudding. I'm big on bread today. Don't know why. I'm gonna eat that. Hey, look, guys, Chrysler LeBaron. It's my friendly pup. So that's it for today. Thanks for watching, guys. Love yourself. Woo!